Hey everyone. Well, maybe it's almost 2 years probably since we've seen many of you over here in Europe, so I thought it would be a good chance to spend a few minutes and just check in, say hello here from Spain. Obviously, Europe's attempting to get on with life and try to find the new normal. There's some borders and some countries now being allowed to travel, France, Italy and Spain, without quarantine if their citizens have been vaccinated. But it's a trial, I guess. They're trialing it. There's positive COVID cases are still rising, and some places are almost at an all-time high, like the UK. But the death rate seems to be staying low right now, so let's hope that with the 50% vaccinations that most European members have been able to achieve, and they keep pushing on, that's going to be the trend that continues, that there are cases, that there are people getting infected, but the symptoms are reduced and the hospitalization and death rates reduced. So it's very much Europe going for the herd immunity strategy, and time will tell whether it's going to pay off or not. Just a bit of background. All of my family at Easter time here in Spain, we all came down with COVID. Thankfully, we had what they describe mild conditions, but still, personally, I was out of action for about 18 days with symptoms, varying symptoms all the time. Definitely beats the 2 or 3 day flu that I've been used to during my life. So basically days 8 to 13 for me were the worst, where I had body aches, especially the quads and the back muscles, where the body aches were like almost down to the bones. So it was like I'd climbed Tourmalet probably 10 times for the cyclists, to get an analogy there. But we seem to be recovering okay now, and fingers crossed that's the worst we'll see of it. In terms of, on a business sense, there's obviously been very little point to try and organise any cycling events over here for the last 18 months, with different restrictions and initial lockdowns, and then changing the measures on a weekly basis, it felt like. So was really no point. Obviously, there is a bit of a green light as of now in Europe for trying to start things up again, but in terms of Sierra, it's going to be difficult for us, because most of our major markets are still obviously in lockdown. So we all just need to remain patient. In terms of survival, we continue with our English classes. It's been a revelation, going from zero and starting and finding local students and some schools here that have taken me on to be their English conversation teacher. It's been a challenge, actually. It's harder work than being a tour guide, but in the end it's getting busy, staying active. Also been doing lots of courier work in the last month around Spain, all of Spain. And our other Sierra workers have been flat out finding whatever they can do with agriculture, gardening, landscaping, painting. So the team is keeping active and in good spirits, but dreaming and waiting for Europe and the tours to start up again, and being able to guide you all back over here. We're waiting, but obviously we all just have to be patient. As I record this message to you all, there's obviously that small bike race around France currently going on. And, it's been funny, because in the past, when the tour company's been at full tilt, often we've all been racing around from one tour, maybe in the Dolomites, to then heading back into Spain to pick up some clients, to then get to the tour. And so often personally, I haven't watched a lot of the tour in many cases until we actually collect clients and do the Tour de France tour. So the pandemic, at least, one small positive is I guess, giving a bit of a moment to sit and watch the race again, and in a way fall back in love with the spectacle. And for me, this first week of the Tour 2021 has been, it's been amazing. I found it really interesting, especially sitting there and watching Van der Poel and Van Aert, two cyclocross young champions, basically at the top of the leaderboard for many days there. That was quite amazing to see. And then to see Mark Cavendish, the comeback kid, come there and take 2 stage wins, and hopefully the really couple of tough weather and tough mountain days have just passed. Let's hope he can recover and contend a few more of those sprints. It's always great to see, a legend of the sport who's been in the wilderness come back. It's really been great to see. And then obviously yesterday we saw the young Aussie Ben O'Connor take, in terrible conditions, take the mountain stage win, stage 9, and leapfrog up to second on the GC. So it's been a fascinating first week, and to watch now for the remainder 2 weeks if O'Connor can continue his rise. He really did well at the 2018 Giro before crashing and breaking his collarbone, and then he rode 2 Grand Tours in 2019, and he won a Giro stage and came second last year in another mountain stage, and now the Dauphiné this year he was 8th in the overall general classification. And now to take a stage, he's had a nice steady progression, and so this could be a new era, seeing this is marking the 10th anniversary of Cadel Evans' Tour de France win. Maybe O'Connor's going to be the one to follow in the next decade, so let's watch. But in terms of the race, I think we've all been able to see that Pogacar is incredibly strong, and something, illness or an unfortunate crash or something like that's going to probably be the only thing that stops that Slovenian champion. So it's going to be still some interesting racing inside the race to come. And in terms of, I guess, some tips of if you're sitting there in the southern hemisphere and you don't afford the luxury to watch in the afternoon like we do here, if you're going to maybe sit up for 2 or 3 nights, have a late night, I would recommend looking at Wednesday stage coming up. It's the double ascent of Ventoux. And so many of our Sierra clients have ridden with us on Ventoux from the Salt and the Boudogne ascent, which this race will do. So the road reconnaissance or the road recognition that many of you will have of cycling through Provence is going to be on show this Wednesday. So recommend you keeping an eye on that stage. And then the final week, they hit the Pyrenees for a couple of days, and stages 17 and 18 are worth a real watch as well. Stage 17, they finish up on Col de Portet, which is now the highest asphalted road in the Pyrenees. It tops over the Tourmalet now, so that's only been asphalted for the last 3 years. And in our Pyrenees coast-to-coast tour, we use that as an optional extra at the end of the day. It sits just above our hotel base near Saint Lary-Soulon, so we use that as an optional extra. And if you sit and watch the last climb up to there with the constant 9 and 10% ramps, it's going to be a GC stage for sure to keep an eye out on. And then the next day they do the Tourmalet, Luthard-Didden. So stage 18 is another Pyrenees summit finish. And we always, most of us talk about Alpe d'Huez all the time with its 21 switchbacks, but Luthard-Didden, similar distance, about 13.5 kilometers long, 8% average, so mirrors Alpe d'Huez's statistics more or less, but it almost has, I think, 30 switchbacks. So for television viewing, if you especially watch the last 4 kilometers to the summit, it opens up from the forest and the switchbacks are endless and the views are amazing. So that's going to be another nice stage, not only visually to watch, but also to shape the final race, the race, seeing that is the last big mountain stage before then the time trial, stage 20, and then Paris. So hopefully you find some time to tune in to a few of those big stages coming up in the tour. Enjoy it. And we'll leave it for here for now, and we'll just hope you're all well. We're trying to stay positive and well over here. We wish you all the best, and we hope to stay in touch and see you all in the not too distant future. Fingers crossed. And remember, stage 11, double climb to Ventoux. This is going to be a fantastic day. So all the best, everyone. Stay safe.